Man, my man got a bad in real life, in real life, and I ain't never going nowhere. We locked in. You can't compare where you can't compete. Stink. Yeah, him. That's me. Bye.
How does a night of celebration turn into a scene of heartbreak? What really happened when joy turned into chaos on Castleman Street? On the 4th of July, a neighborhood block party in Fort Worth, Texas, brought together hundreds of people for an evening of fireworks and festivities. But by the end of the night, a beloved makeup artist, 39-year-old Tasha Hyman, lay fatally wounded, a victim of a senseless act of violence. Tasha wasn't just another name in the crowd. She was a bright light in the lives of over 1,000 clients and the rock for her fiancé, Tommy Howard, who had already endured unspeakable loss. Her death sent shockwaves across Fort Worth. But the question remains, why did this happen? And could it have been stopped? Tonight, we'll uncover the events that led to that fatal moment. We'll explore the mounting tensions in the hours before gunfire erupted, the tragic final moments captured in a live stream, and the arrest of a 21-year-old man accused of taking her life. This is not just the story of a life lost. It's the story of a celebration turned into tragedy, leaving unanswered questions that demand attention. What pushed this celebration over the edge? Who was really behind the chaos and why? Stick around as we piece together the fragments of that fateful night, and share your thoughts in the comments as we unravel the truth. Welcome to Viral True Crime Stories, where we bring you the most compelling and heartbreaking true crime cases. Every story we share is based on real events that deserve to be heard. Please support us by subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell icon so you never miss an important story. This story will take us to Fort Worth, Texas. It is a growing city known for its Western heritage, cultural attractions, and a booming economy. Home to nearly 1 million people, it blends history with modern urban life. Texas has one of the highest rates of gun violence in the U.S., with over 4,600 gun-related deaths reported in 2022, including homicides, suicides, and accidents. Addressing this issue remains a key focus for communities statewide. Tasha Hyman was more than just a name. She was a force of nature. At 39 years old, she had built a thriving career as one of Fort Worth's most sought-after makeup artists, earning the trust and admiration of over 1,000 loyal clients. Her talent wasn't just in her craft. It was in her ability to make people feel beautiful, inside and out. Clients described her as the type of person who lit up the room, someone who listened, laughed, and made every moment in her chair feel special. Tasha Hyman was not just a beloved makeup artist and fiancée. She was also a devoted mother to her young son. While much of her life was dedicated to her career and clients, her greatest joy came from being a parent. She often shared moments of their life together, revealing a softer, nurturing side that made her connection with her son incredibly special. Her son, whose name has not been widely shared, was the center of her world. Tasha worked tirelessly to ensure he had a stable and loving home, often balancing her demanding business schedule to spend quality time with him. Friends and family recall how she would light up when talking about him, describing her as a doting mother who would do anything to see him smile. But Tasha's impact wasn't limited to her work. To her fiancé, Tommy Howard, she was a lifeline. For years earlier, Tommy had lost his previous fiancée to cancer, a loss so devastating it nearly broke him. And then came Tasha. She helped him rebuild his world, piece by piece, with her kindness and unwavering support. "She saved me," Tommy would later say. "She was cheerful, always smiling, just a good spirit. Everybody loved her." Tasha wasn't just preparing for another busy week of clients. She was planning for her future. She had dreams, ambitions, and a life filled with love. But on the night of July 4th, those dreams came to a devastating halt. How does a life so full of promise end so suddenly? And why? This is where the story begins to take a darker turn, as we uncover the events that led to her tragic death. The night began like any other 4th of July celebration. On Castleman Street in Fort Worth, Texas, hundreds of people gathered under the glow of fireworks. Music blared from speakers, children laughed as they chased each other, and families sat on porches, soaking in the excitement of the holiday. But beneath the festive atmosphere, chaos was waiting to erupt. As the night wore on, the crowd grew larger, 200, maybe even 300 people packed into the street. Fireworks weren't just lighting up the sky. Some were being fired dangerously close to homes, hitting walls and windows. The sound of screeching tires soon filled the air as cars began doing donuts at the intersection of Castleman and Comanche Streets. Smoke billowed from burning rubber, and the crowd cheered, recording every reckless stunt on their phones. The noise was deafening, the energy electric, but for many nearby residents, it was unbearable. What started as a celebration was turning into chaos. Frustration among the neighbors grew. It was only a matter of time before something snapped. And then, it happened. A sound no one expected. Not fireworks, not music, but gunfire. In an instant, the celebration turned into panic. People ran, ducking for cover as bullets tore through the air. One of those bullets struck 39-year-old Tasha Hyman, just moments after she stepped outside. The question is, what triggered the violence? And how did a joyous night spiral into tragedy so quickly? Keep watching as we uncover how this celebration turned deadly. It began as a spectacle. A group of drivers revving their engines and spinning their cars in wild circles at the intersection of Castleman and Comanche Streets. The crowd grew louder, cheering as the chaos escalated. But for some nearby residents, the noise, the smoke, and the disruption were too much to bear. Tensions boiled over as fireworks exploded too close to homes. Frustration was building, but no one could have predicted what would come next. Suddenly, gunshots rang out. The deafening sound sent panic through the crowd. People screamed, ducked, and scattered in every direction, desperate to find cover. Inside a nearby house, Tasha Hyman was oblivious to the chaos unfolding outside. She had gone into her fiancé's mother's home to use the restroom, stepping away from the noise and the crowd. Just moments later, she opened the door and stepped back outside. But what she walked into wasn't the celebration she left. It was chaos. Gunfire ripped through the air, and in an instant, Tasha was struck by a bullet. What makes this moment even more devastating is that Tasha had been live streaming the night's events on social media just minutes earlier. Her final moments, laughter, music, fireworks, were captured on camera, followed by the chaos that no one saw coming. Tasha Hyman, a woman loved by so many, was gone in an instant. Her fiancé, Tommy Howard, would later describe her as his savior, the person who had helped him rebuild his life after unimaginable loss. Now he was left to face yet another tragedy. What happened that night wasn't just a random act of violence. Tasha's death wasn't just an accident. But who fired the shots? And why? Stick with me. The screams of panic still echoed as the crowd fled Castleman Street, leaving behind the remnants of a night meant for celebration. Fireworks fizzled on the pavement. Cars sped away. And there, amidst the chaos, lay Tasha Hyman, a life stolen in an instant. Tommy Howard, standing just steps away from where Tasha fell, was frozen in shock. The woman who had helped him rebuild his life after unimaginable loss was gone. The reality of what had happened was too much to comprehend. As the news spread, the streets were eerily quiet the next morning. Tasha's clients, friends, and loved ones woke to the devastating announcement. Her business, Slay by Shay, shared a heartbreaking statement. It is with a heavy heart that we announce the passing of our beloved owner, Latasha. The studio will be temporarily closed as we grieve this unimaginable loss. The loss of Tasha wasn't just felt by her family. Over 1,000 clients in Fort Worth, many of whom had come to know her as more than a makeup artist, were mourning the loss of a vibrant soul who brought joy and creativity into their lives. Social media was flooded with tributes. Former clients shared stories of how Tasha's talent and warmth had touched their lives. She made every appointment feel like you were sitting with a friend, one client wrote. Another added, Tasha wasn't just an artist. She was a light in so many people's lives. But as the city mourned, questions lingered. How could such a senseless act happen? And as the community came together to remember Tasha, investigators were piecing together the events of that night to ensure justice would be served. Stay with us as we explore what happens next. Don't forget to subscribe as we uncover the quest for justice in the aftermath of this tragedy. The night of chaos didn't end when the gunfire stopped. It was just the beginning of a painstaking search for answers. Law enforcement arrived at Castleman Street to find a scene of utter devastation. Scattered debris, frightened witnesses, and a family shattered by loss. Fort Worth police immediately began piecing together the events that led to Tasha Hyman's tragic death. Witness statements painted a chaotic picture, but the most crucial evidence came from an unexpected source, Tasha's own live stream. The video captured the escalating tension of the block party. Fireworks dangerously close to homes, cars spinning recklessly in the intersection, and the moments leading up to the gunfire. Investigators worked around the clock, analyzing the video and interviewing witnesses. Frustration and fear hung heavy in the air. Who was responsible for turning a night of celebration into one of heartbreak? Just days after the shooting, police announced an arrest. Todd Eric Rogers, a 21-year-old, was taken into custody and charged with murder. But the news brought more questions than answers. What could have driven him to such an act? What was his role in the chaos that erupted that night? Rogers, known to frequent the area, was no stranger to the block party scene. Investigators believe he was among the group of individuals recklessly shooting fireworks and adding to the tension. While the exact motive remains unclear, evidence pointed directly to him as the one who fired the fatal shots. But why? What pushed this 21-year-old to pull the trigger in a crowd of hundreds? And with so many witnesses, could there be more to the story than what's been uncovered so far? These questions continue to weigh on the minds of everyone impacted by Tasha's loss. What do you think led to this senseless act of violence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters in this ongoing conversation. The gunfire that claimed Tasha Hyman's life left a trail of grief and confusion. But one question haunts everyone who was there. What sparked the chaos that turned a night of celebration into a scene of tragedy? Was it frustration boiling over from nearby residents? A reckless reaction to the chaos of cars and fireworks? Or was it something else entirely? A personal conflict hidden in plain sight? No one truly knows what led to that moment when bullets tore through the crowd. And then there's the question no one can escape. Could this have been prevented? Were there signs, decisions, or precautions that might have saved Tasha's life that night? Or was this tragedy an unstoppable chain of events waiting to happen? In the wake of Tasha's death, residents of Fort Worth are left grappling with a pressing concern. Safety during large gatherings. When celebrations grow uncontrollable, when police struggle to maintain order, what's the solution? How do we prevent joy from turning into heartbreak? While Todd Eric Rogers sits in custody, many questions remain unanswered. What truly led to that fateful night? And will justice provide any comfort to those left mourning Tasha? Her warmth was infectious. As a makeup artist, she didn't just enhance appearances. She lifted spirits. With over 1,000 loyal clients, Tasha turned her craft into a form of connection, making each person who sat in her chair feel seen, heard, and beautiful. To her fiancé, Tommy Howard, she was a lifeline. After losing his previous fiancée to cancer, Tasha became his strength, his partner in rebuilding a life of hope. In her, he found love again. And for so many others, she was a friend who showed up when it mattered most. But now, Her story stands as a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Gun violence doesn't just claim lives. It leaves ripples of grief and unanswered questions for those left behind. In the face of such loss, the power of community support becomes more important than ever. Healing isn't just about remembering those we've lost. It's about coming together to demand change and ensure that no one else has to endure this kind of pain. As we remember Tasha's light, we're left with an important question. How do we honor her legacy and ensure her story becomes a catalyst for change? What do you think is the most important step to prevent such tragedies in the future? Let us know in the comments below. Together, we can keep Tasha's memory alive and strive for a safer future. Tasha Hyman's story is more than a tragedy. It's a stark reminder of how fleeting life can be and the importance of treasuring every moment with those we love. From a joyous 4th of July celebration to an unimaginable loss, this case highlights the devastating impact of gun violence and the need for better safeguards during public gatherings. What do you think could have been done differently that night? Could this tragedy have been prevented? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Dear viewers, if you still haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly do, so as it will mean a lot to us and encourage us to keep bringing you this true crime stories. In this moment of sorrow, we extend our deepest condolences to her family and friends. May you find comfort in the precious memories you shared with Tasha, and may her legacy of kindness and joy continue to inspire us all. Tasha's memory lives on through the lives she touched. Let's honor her by continuing to seek the truth and working toward a safer world for everyone. Thanks for watching to the end and see you in our next true crime story.